Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain. I'm Rachel with coffee that I need to finish drinking fairly quickly because I think I would like another one. It's Friday. I don't have anything going on because my plans were canceled, but that's perfectly fine. I will probably find something to do for the rest of the weekend, which I do have plans. But we are not talking about that. We are talking about The Violence of Sound by Jeff Wheeler. Now, this is The Invisible College number 2, and I did review number 1, The Invisible College, not incredibly long ago, maybe about 6 to 7 months ago. I'm not certain where in my catalog of videos it may be, but I do remember that I made a video for it, and I do remember, I think it was last summer at some point. I enjoyed it because it definitely has the kind of vibe of, I guess you could kind of say golden age-ish New York at that time, but it's not New York that we're in. We're kind of in the UK, England, we're in Great Britain area. So we've got a lot of things going on. Now, Jeff Wheeler is an incredibly prolific author, and as I was actually hopping onto Goodreads to find this book, it took me a minute to find it. I typed in Jeff Wheeler, and then I had pages and pages and pages of books that he has written. So, very prolific author. If this one doesn't sound up your alley, then I'm certain he's got something that would probably be more up your alley. But let's dive into this one. A husband and wife brought together by magic strive to stop a war of worlds in an epic adventure of hope, sorcery, and secrets by Wall Street Journal best-selling author Jeff Wheeler. What humankind feared the most has come to the awakening of the Aesir, an ancient race What humankind feared the most has come to the awakening of the Aesir, an ancient race. So sorry, I am going to learn to read. One day it's going to stick. Who rose with an implacable vengeance to wage war on mortals through bombardment and plague. Two people gifted with magic and ingenuity strive to stop them. Professor Robinson Hawksley, an elocutionist, maybe I need to hire him, in the Invisible College, prepares to exhibit his invention to the world. Using sound to defeat the enemy could change the course of the war. It's invaluable to the military, even more so to a conniving rival who will do anything to prove its patent as her own. An extraordinary obstacle could stand in Robinson's new wife. An extraordinary obstacle could stand in the Robinson's new wife, McKenna. That just doesn't sound right. I swear I read it how it says. Anyway, McKenna, robbed of her hearing by an Aesir scourge, is otherwise blessed with mysterious powers she's only beginning to comprehend. She's also harboring a secret that could get her killed. As a very human war escalates inside the Invisible College, a supernatural one with the Aesir rages outside. But are love and sorcery enough for Robinson and McKenna to conquer both? Now, this book is actually going to be released on April 15th of 2025. It's a little bit lengthy at 443 pages, but I did also have the audiobook from NetGalley that I was able to I sped it up just a little bit, but I want to say it was somewhere around 15 hours. I don't usually listen to it at like one time speed. I tend to listen to most of my audiobooks on 1.25 speed. Just seems to be the way my brain is able to absorb it best. But let us dive into my thoughts, and I'm just going to scroll down a little bit so I can get down here. I read the first book and was really intrigued. Now, I would definitely consider this maybe sci-fi fantasy. I think having this sort of alien race hidden under the ice of some of like the polar ice caps is very scientific or science fiction-y in my personal thoughts. There's also this sort of thought of utilizing different technologies and possibly magics that the Aesir have utilized, so kind of using their tools against them. And so again, I think that that's also part of what I consider to be science fiction. And I say it like that because science loose fiction. It's like loose based science. There's no real, I guess, science of what we know right now being utilized. We don't have ACER technology to be able to illuminate light bulbs or that sort of thing. However, the fantasy part is also very, I guess, prominent. And the fact that there seems to be ways to cast and create spells as long as you are able to sing in certain harmonic tones. McKenna, though she is deaf, she has become very skilled and adept at not only reading people's lips, but also speaking in such a way that the elocutionist has helped teach her that, kind of helps to round out her words in order to help. I don't want to say mask her deficiency, mask her disability, but to help her feel more a part of society without feeling as though she has any sort of, I guess, handicap on society. And she does a magnificent job. She's absolutely brilliant character. She's worked incredibly hard to be knowledgeable in so many different facets. And the one thing she cannot do, because she doesn't understand harmonics, because she can't hear it, no matter if she puts her hand on his throat and tries to kind of I guess, vary her voice levels, she's unable to create or cast magic in those manners. And so she's constantly frustrated with that. Now, Robinson Hawksley, or Robinson, he is her husband at this point. In book one, they had kind of been dating. There was kind of some, he was her teacher in book one, but she fell for him pretty hard, pretty fast. It was a little taboo. I think it was like the great aunt of McKenna was a little bit kind of shocked and appalled that this man would, and I say it that way, that he would deign to, I guess, seek the hand of such a prestigious daughter of, this, what do they call him? Solicitor or something of that. He's a lawyer. Her dad's a pretty well-known lawyer, and he runs in some fairly high circles. But I was locked in pretty quickly on this particular story because I had already known their history. There's also, if you haven't read book one, I do think it's important to read it before you dive into this one as well. There is just understanding of their relationship. There is understanding some of the magic that's utilized, some of the technologies that are utilized, but it also establishes some of the characters that we're encountering in this book as well. You can certainly try to read it on its own, but I do think you're going to be missing some really good backstory that helps fill in a lot of the gaps. I think the romance was pretty cute. The ending is pretty quick and fast once you get there, and I do think, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there to my thoughts, but the beginning was just a little bit slow. It took me just a minute to kind of listen, remind myself all the things that I had learned from book one, because it's been about 7 months and I think I've read about, I don't know, 125-ish books since then. It's been a lot. But the romance is pretty cute. They do seem to absolutely adore each other. And Robinson is constantly looking for ways to be able to, almost what I would say, hear his wife's voice. He has this ring that he found that when he puts it on, he's able to talk. He can hear other people's thoughts, but he can also, if someone else has a ring, he can kind of talk back and forth with them. And he has a friend who gets drafted into the army who, Wilkerson, who Robinson gives a second ring to because he did try with McKenna, but she doesn't seem to have any even internal voice that he can hear. So there's something about that as well that's almost blocked or limited, where he can't hear her no matter what he tries to do. He even tries creating her this almost type of crown that he can that she can put on, and maybe that'll help project her thoughts or amplify her thoughts. But it doesn't quite work. So there is a lot going on in this story. We've got some military individuals who are being very sneaky, and they are doing, I mean, McKenna almost gets kidnapped like a dozen times in this book. There are several moments where it's either the military or this other person trying to kidnap McKenna or trying to take out Huxley. And there is a lot of action going on in this book. I'm just trying to think, like, I'm trying not to spoil anything, because it does, like, once you read book one, I think you're going to understand one particular facet that I am trying not to talk about. And that's what's going to drive the military. And then, but I think it also kind of drives this other, what I would call rebel group that is sympathetic to the Aesir. And they're also trying to kidnap McKenna for different reasons. Now, it's kind of a similar reason, but it's a different reason as well. And I want to say that guy's name is like the Stronic or something like that. It was really kind of weird, but he seems to be able to have some sort of illusionary magic, but she can see straight through his illusionary magic. So even though other people only see what he wants them to see, she can see him for what he really is. So she's constantly on the lookout to not get kidnapped, and that's pretty good. I do give this probably 4.25 stars. I was absolutely engaged the whole time. Again, I've read the first book, so this book was just me meeting these old friends once again to continue their story and find out what happens next. I liked it. That's the short and long of it. It's engaging. I swear, I've read a couple other books, and I want to say like Doomsday Vault might have been one of them. Is that the right title? It was something about like Aztec sort of Mayan prophecies / powers. I don't know. He's got a really fantastic way of taking story, lore, thoughts, and turning them into really interesting, in my personal opinion, sci-fi fantasy books that are engaging and intense, kind of suspenseful, little bit of mystery going on. But honestly, I'm like, whenever book 3 comes out in this book, I will be just as eager to pick it up. But I have a puppy who is looking at me, and he's not crying, but he is making these little noises. It's very small. Like, he's certainly trying to get my attention. So I guess I better go give him a little bit of that right now. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. If you have not liked and subscribed already, I certainly hope you will. And thank you for joining me on this journey. I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one.